Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 4th Brazilian Philanthropy Forum. I would like to congratulate Paula and the team at Aegis for putting together this annual gathering and convening a community of philanthropists that are eager to learn from each other and discuss ways to make their philanthropy more effective and their engagement more meaningful. I'm delighted to see so many familiar faces who have also attended the Global Philanthropy Forum. I feel like I'm in family here. And I hope to see many more of you at the next Global Philanthropy Forum, which will take place April 2nd, 2016, in Northern California. The Global Philanthropy Forum is a dynamic international network of engaged philanthropists, donors, social investors, who share a commitment to being strategic and an interest in global issues. Our purpose has been to build this learning community and to inform and enhance the strategic nature of our members' work. Our annual conference is an opportunity to recharge, reconsider approaches to given problems, to reflect on innovations, and assess what works and what doesn't, and most of all, for our members to learn from each other. The underlying question that we ask ourselves every time we put together the conference is, what is the role of philanthropy in promoting human development and social change? We have been fortunate to partner with Aegis in the creation of the Brazilian Philanthropy Forum. Little did I know that my early email communications with Carol Civita and a long meeting I've held with Marcos Kiesel at one of the GPF conferences would lead to this partnership. It couldn't have happened without Carol's contagious enthusiasm and Marcos's determination. This partnership has also been the inspiration for us to launch a more recent initiative, which is the African Philanthropy Forum. Our goal there is to build a learning network of indigenous African philanthropists and social investors who are committed to using philanthropy to promote broad-based growth and inclusive development on the continent. 2 weeks ago, we held the second African Philanthropy Forum in Kigali, Rwanda. It was a deeply inspiring conference as participants took stock of the talent and potential that exist in Africa. And one of the points of inspiration was the country of Rwanda itself. 20 years after a brutal genocide, the country had pulled itself from this tragedy and has become a model of how a government can partner with philanthropy and aid organizations. And in a continent that is plagued with conflict and a host of governance issues, Rwanda has become known as a place with zero tolerance for corruption. And that is not a small achievement. Today's conference will look at philanthropy in times of crises and will touch on this question of governance. Crises give donors the opportunity to rethink why they give and the values that guide their giving. It is time for them to take stock and recalibrate. Crises are times of deep disruption that put to the test existing institutions and our assumptions of where the solutions to problems should come from. Trust, which is the binding glue of any social contract, is derailed. People start thinking of short-term fixes, endangering long-term outcomes. And sometimes the tendency can be to wait on the sidelines and to retract, especially if the crisis also involves political and economic risk to actions taken by individuals and corporations. But crises are also times of unexpected opportunity. People realize some things are broken and often are more ready than before to take the challenge of change. The right response is to engage, to take informed risk, to take the long view, and to use the opportunity to address systemic needs that may have been left unattended far too long. Sometimes bold initiative, speed of engagement, and adaptability in the course of action are in order. But mostly, for philanthropists, crises require a review of our tolerance for risk and a reassessment of what it means to be successful in that context. The metrics we use in crisis situations are necessarily different than in other times. Crises are first and foremost a time to be strategic, to be deliberate, and to be creative. They make it more important to share learnings, to learn from the evidence on the ground, and to seek ways to deepen cooperation so as to maximize our collective impact. It is a time to co-design with grantees and beneficiaries in assessing the needs, in defining the objectives, and ascertaining the results. We are living through rapid and sometimes wrenching changes all around us, and crises have become more frequent. From the Arab Spring to its aftermath, the weather extremes that we are experiencing, the influx of refugees, everywhere these fundamental issues point to one question, which is this question of governance. And by governance, I mean the management of shared problems and the stewardship of shared resources. Governance is not simply a political issue. It is a development issue. And if there's a single enabler or inhibitor of all other aspects of human development and social change, it is governance. Good governance inspires trust, enables creativity, and builds societal ownership. Poor governance and corruption lead to disenfranchisement, disinvestment, and create uncertainty and insecurity. Governance crises lead us to push the envelope of dialogue under an ever larger tent and bring together conversations across issues, across sectors, and across societal divides. They lead us to rethink institutions with greater inclusion for differences, and because they affect society as a whole, solutions will require the coming together of a diverse set of actors. They require us to find and support that which is working well and to enable efforts that promote transparency and accountability. Recent events in Brazil have demonstrated how the media has played an important role in shining the spotlight on difficult issues and how the judiciary has held people to account. Philanthropy can build on these significant anchors and further support an ecosystem of organizations that reinforce good governance at every societal levels, such as watchdog agencies, financial reporting mechanisms, facilitating access to justice, informing citizens of their own rights, ensuring consumer practices, supporting advocacy, and most of all, making human and civil rights personal to all. Governance crises make it more salient to support ethical leaders and to promote ethical leadership among the youth. And because these crises tend to be so disempowering, it is time to consciously change the narrative from a narrative of negativity and failure to one that empowers citizens to have a choice and assert their dignity. It is therefore important to highlight interventions that succeed. And finally, it is important to strengthen the basis of local community philanthropy so that communities can sustain local efforts and build resilience for the long term. I want to go back for a minute to Africa and to Tunisia, where the Arab Spring began. During a critical juncture after the Tunisian leader was toppled, Tunisia was grappling with striking a balance between the rise of political Islam and the secular tradition in the country. Inflation was rising, terrorist attacks were rising, 2 prominent opposition leaders were assassinated, and the country was facing an institutional crisis. 4 civil society organizations known as the National Dialogue Quartet provided a vital bridge for dialogue and political compromise between the various groups. They brought opposing sides together. They helped draft a national roadmap that brought down peacefully one government and ushered democratic elections, sparing the country further turmoil and frailty. And as you know, the quartet received the Nobel Peace Prize in 2015. Now, I did not tell you anything that you did not know, but it is a deeply inspiring example of leadership and a model of citizens believing in themselves and in each other and taking ownership of their own destiny. It is also a reminder that solutions to what seem to be the most intractable problems can be within our collective reach. And in times of crisis, it is important to remember that. Philanthropy is not just about giving money, it is about lending leadership and bringing to the equation that which made philanthropists successful in the first place: their drive, their ability to seize opportunity, and their refusal to accept that something can't be done. And it is exactly this kind of leadership that is needed in times of crises to move the needle forward, even if it is one step at a time. I look forward to our conference and look forward to learning from each and every one of you, and thank you very much.